Hey there everybody, it's Rick Utzler here with AirgunWeb, and this is episode 11 on our deep dive series on the BSA Ultra SE. This is a 22 caliber, 12 foot-pound cream puff of an air gun, and we're about to the end of our journey with it so far, and we're getting ready to do some hunting. Now, I was hoping to do some hunting now, but I realized something after my last video that I want to tell you guys how to fix it. Stay with us. All right, so before we get started, definitely want to say thank you to BSA and everybody else that's making this video happen. Guys, you want to know more about the products we're using? I put them down in the description. So please go take a look, check them out. And guys, if it wasn't for them, I couldn't be doing this. So please go check out the video description and just see who's helping us out. Okay, so let's get going here. Last episode, I was shooting and I had this sighted for 50 yards. That's where we've been really kind of see where we could hit, getting great groups. But there's a problem shooting at 50 yards with this gun, okay? Especially if you're gonna do any hunting. Okay, if we look here, this is where I'm looking, and this is where the pellet goes. So if you take this out, they don't match. You notice that? You ever wonder how a scope's here and the bore's there, and how do you intersect? Well, the tube in here, you're manipulating that to make that angle and make that intercept. So as I change the scope, I'm actually raising the barrel, let's say, and this is coming up. So what happens then is the pellet goes here and then it keeps going up and then comes back down. So if I've got this at 50 yards, given the low velocity on this gun, I have quite the angle going on. It's pretty severe. So in order for me to be in the kill zone, let's say we're working with a 1-inch kill zone, I'm in that like here and I'm in that here. So I've got some software. And before we go any further, I'm going to tell you right now, stop what you're doing, pause the video if you need to, and go over to www.hawkeoptics.com or search for Hawke Optics Chairgun Pro. Now, this software has been discontinued. I know it's probably been a lot of development stuff on their part. It's just a lot to keep up with, so I'm not sort of upset they discontinued it, but I'm upset they discontinued it. It's a software that lets you plug in all the parameters with your airgun, your pellet ballistic coefficient, your velocity, caliber, all of that kind of stuff. You plug that in and it gives you your shot curve. It tells you where you need to zero to optimize your scope or what kind of shot, trajectory you're going to get. It gives you all of that, energy out to range. It tells you so much information geared around air gunners. So kind of sad they took it off the table, but you can still get a copy. So go right now, look it up, get that, collect that, hoard that piece of software, because they may at some point take it off their site, then it's going to be gone forever. So go get that right now. You're going to want it, and you're going to want to use that to do what I'm doing here today to make hunting so much easier. All right, so what I did is I plugged in my data. So I have an 18 grain pellet. This shoots about 535 feet per second with that pellet. Energy is right around 12 foot-pounds. It's actually 11.44 foot-pounds. It's right there. But if I'm sighted at 50 yards, I am shooting like this. So if I'm hunting, that means like if I'm dead zero and like gonna put the crosshairs on where I want to hit on the game, I am only gonna be in the kill zone from like 3.6 yards to 6.7 yards. And then the next time I'm in that kill zone again without having to adjust is back at 48.6 yards to 51.4 yards. So I have this teeny little window on up close and up and far out that I'm actually like using the crosshairs on the target. So how can I make my life hunting easier? Is there a way I can flatten that out so I'm in that kill zone for a much longer period of time? Well, the short answer is absolutely yes. What you need to do is you need to actually change your 0 point till you see that shot curve flatten out. So for this gun, it actually happens to be 10 yards. So I can take my gun and my scope and I can sight it for 10 yards. And now that shot curve, it goes like, instead of going like this, it goes like this. Okay, so maybe I'll go this way with it. It starts here, it comes up, and then it just falls off. So if most of my hunting is inside 50 yards, now instead of having this little narrow window, if I am from 6.4 yards to 30 yards, I'm going to be in the kill zone without having to adjust my holdover. So that just changed everything. So I don't have to think about, man, I'm 10 yards away. Was it here? Where am I? No, you just put the crosshairs on your target, pull the trigger, and it's gone. If you're working with a typical 1-inch kill zone, you do this optimization, sight it in where the software tells you, you're going to be able to just put the crosshairs on the target, pull the trigger, and you're going to be good to go. If you're out hunting, that is so huge. And obviously, if you've got a different caliber and you've got different velocity, that's going to change. You can get a much wider, where you're in that kill zone, that wider area, if you have a gun that has that particular characteristics. But we're dealing with a 12 foot-pound gun that shoots very slowly. That pellet's going to bleed energy very quickly. So rather than having to have all of these different aim points, I can now take my gun out and I can be on target from that range without even having to think about where to hold over or hold under. So does it work? That's the big thing. The computer says, do this. Does it actually translate? Short answer is, yeah, pretty much it does. So I did some shooting today. And what we got here is I started off at 10 yards. And right at 10 yards, that's what we were getting. So we're pretty much dead nuts at 10 yards, right? So the next thing we did is I brought the target into 7 yards. And at 7 yards, I should be a little bit low. And there's 2 shots, just a little bit low, right? Just like the software says. So I took it to 10 yards, and we were just a teeny bit low of dead center, but that's 10 yards. Now we took it out. Let's see, the next high point is at 18 yards. So from like 7 yards to 18 yards, you're kind of on the upswing. But you're still inside that 1 inch. So you're really, the upswing is just a 1/2 inch low to a 1/2 inch high, okay? So at 20 yards, this is where we hit. Now, if you go from here to here, that's about 1/2 inch. So I don't know what I was doing, but if I took these groups and just shifted them up a 1/4 inch, I would have been dead on the money. Anyway, we're gonna chalk that up to shooter error. But here's my 2 shots, just a fraction above the bullseye, which is exactly where I should be. So far, if this black area is the kill zone, I'm here at 7 yards, 10 yards, 18 yards. It's all dead. That's very cool. I didn't have to adjust anything. I just aimed dead center and I'm hitting the kill zone. Now we moved it out to 26 yards. 26 yards should have been back on 0. So we fell a little low for whatever reason, but where are we? Still in the kill zone. So now we've got from 7 yards, 10 yards, 18 yards, 26 yards, all the shots in the kill zone. If I had left this sighted for 50 yards and I tried to do that aiming dead zero, I would have an extreme variance. Let's see, 7 yards, I'd be about a 1/2 inch high. At 20 yards, I'd be 3 1/4 inches high. So you can imagine this sort of variance. If I left this sighted at 50 yards trying to hunt with it, it'd be all over the map. But bringing this down, using this optimization tool, put it back to 10 yards, I'm flat again. So cool, right? All right, so my next one on the final before it drops out the kill zone is right around 30 yards. And we had, of course, it was dead calm when we started, and then the wind started to pick up. And my first 2 shots just went a teeny bit right. So I just adjusted a little bit, but you can see I barely nicked the bottom of the black. Okay, so maybe just a tiny bit closer and I'd be on it. But as I was saying earlier, for whatever reason, I was falling just a little bit low, like here on dead zero. So it could be that if I just changed my scope just a fraction, all of this would have shifted up just a bit, and even here I would have been in the black. So we're talking from 7 to over here at 30, I wouldn't have to change my hold at all. Aim dead center, I'd be in the kill zone, I'd have dead game. So to me, that makes life a whole lot easier If I'm gonna go out and go hunting, having my gun properly set up makes all the difference in the world. So last thing is, why is this important? Well, when you're hunting with a firearm, you have a lot more energy. I mean, you have so much more margin for error. You have hydrostatic shock. You have all the stuff that happens when you hit game that it just completely disables it. With a pellet gun, you don't get that. You are dealing with taking a lead projectile, moving relatively slowly, and you're going to hit something vital. If you don't hit something vital, the game's gonna limp off. So that precision with something like this, you gotta have it. So why not make it as easy as possible for you to hit your mark and be able to take game ethically? That's what this lets me do. So now I know I may make a few more tweaks just so that I can really get this dialed in to make sure I'm hitting where I need to hit. But now I've got the simplicity where I can just hold it right on my target and know with confidence I'm gonna have a clean kill. So guys, our next episode will be, we're gonna take this out small game hunting. Probably gonna put the phone scope on here so you guys can see what I'm doing. So that'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully we get some good footage through the scope with the phone scope, and we'll be able to show you some cool hunting footage after we've gone through all of this all year to get to this point. We're able to take this out and actually take it to the field and have some fun with it. Guys, that's it for now. My name is Rick Utzer here with AirgunWeb. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you're seeing, please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification button so you get notified when we have new videos coming out. Guys, that's it. Thanks for watching.